Hello and welcome to Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. My name is Kelly and I'm a former wedding planner and blogger, and I'm obsessed with weddings. If you're planning a wedding in Ireland, you're in the right place. You're going to learn the tried and tested methods to planning your dream wedding without the added stress. Think of this as your one-stop shop for everything to do with planning your wedding in Ireland. With me, your new wedding planning bestie, and a cup of tea. This is Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. Well, hello and happy Wednesday. My name is Kelly. I'm your host, and it is time for Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online. And today we are doing part 2 of a very short 2-part series about wedding budgets. Last week we spoke all about wedding expenses that maybe you aren't expecting. I listed a whole lot of things that I'm pretty sure people have not included in their wedding budgets. And so if you're feeling a little bit concerned that maybe you haven't thought of everything, take a listen, because you will learn a few things and it will help you to make sure you don't go over your budget. Today, we're talking all about bridesmaids and wedding budgets, what you can expect to pay if you are a bridesmaid, you're in the wedding party, but also if you have a wedding party, this is for you as well, so that you know what you can expect to pay for. Now, of course, being a bridesmaid is always an honor, it's always a privilege, and it's an amazing opportunity to stand by your bestie, to have an amazing time together, to be part of the wedding planning, but it can also be a financial commitment. The question is, what should bridesmaids really expect to pay for? And I'm going to break it down for you, and I'm going to say up front, with some of the items, it's a very clear-cut yes or no, you pay for this or you don't pay for this. But with other items, there's a bit of a maybe involved, but I will explain what those maybes are and how you can work them out. Okay, first category, shoes and accessories. Now, usually the bridesmaids will cover the cost of shoes and accessories, but, and this is where there's a maybe, if the bride has a very specific vision and she requires all the girls to wear a specific type of shoe and a specific type of accessory, then it is up to her to pay for that. I find shoes and accessories are often an easy thing to say, hey, girls, I want you to wear something in this color. I don't mind what you wear, as long as they are heels and they're in a kind of blush pink color, for example. When it comes to jewelry, you could say wear whatever you want, as long as they are gold earrings and whatever kind of necklace or bracelet you want to wear. My advice is, if you aren't sure and you're a bridesmaid, just ask. If you have a pair of shoes and you think they'll fit perfectly with the dress and the tone of the day, send a picture to the bride, let her know what you think, and then you can have a conversation about it from there. Okay, expert tip time. This one's for the brides. My advice to you is, if you are planning on contributing anything in the form of jewelry or accessories or some kind of gift that you want to give to your bridesmaids for them to wear on the day, don't just surprise them on the day, because what they might do is buy something to wear on your wedding day. But if you say to them, hey, these are the things that I'd like you to think about, but don't worry about the jewelry, they'll read between the lines, you can still surprise them, but this way they haven't gone and spent money on something that they won't end up using on the big day. Okay, next category, wedding gift. This is a little more clear-cut. No one's expecting you to give a wedding gift, but it is something people do. If you've spent a lot of money on different items that are required to plan the hen party and be a bridesmaid, that's great, but it's still customary to give a wedding gift. Now, of course, if you are, if you feel like your budget isn't going to stretch that far, it's totally acceptable to split the cost of a gift with the other bridesmaids or with some other friends. That's totally fine. No one's going to worry about that, but buying a gift is something that is recommended. Okay, here's another clear-cut one, the hen party. Now, anything that you need to spend at the hen party for yourself, you would cover those costs. So that's travel, it's food, it's anything that you need to attend the hen party, you will cover those costs. But what about the bride's expenses? Now, the bride should never pay for the hen party. That's up to the bridesmaids and the guests to split the cost. Now, there are some special circumstances. For example, if the bride really wants to go to a specific location and it's very pricey, but she knows it's too expensive for lots of people, but she's happy to contribute towards it, That's a special situation and should be led by the bride. But general rule is the bride doesn't pay for anything at the hen party. That's between the bridesmaids and the guests to treat the bride and to split those costs. Okay, now we're getting into some more murky territory. Hair and makeup. There are two ways to go about doing this. And it does depend largely on how many bridesmaids there are and how much time there is for everybody to get ready. What could happen is scenario A, the bride pays for all the bridesmaids to have their hair and makeup done, and she can then have a bit more of an opinion about what everybody does with their hair. For example, I want everyone to have their hair tied up. Okay, the next category is hair and makeup, and that's a bit more of a murky one. And I'm going to walk you through some options. So option one, the bride has a very specific vision. And let's say, for example, the bride says, I would like all the girls to have their hair up and curled, or I want everybody in a specific shade of lipstick or eyeshadow or whatever it is. If you have a specific vision and you have the means to pay for it, it's highly recommended that you cover the costs of all the bridesmaids getting their hair and makeup done. Now, the next option is, as a bride, you're very relaxed. You don't actually mind what the girls do with their hair, and therefore you're okay with them either doing their own hair, helping each other do their hair, or bringing in someone that can that can do all the hair and makeup for them, and they will sort out the costs. My expert tip is to plan this ahead of time. Now, as a bridesmaid, there are lots of things to think about, and the wedding isn't always going to be at the forefront of their mind. Whereas as the couple, the wedding is probably the biggest thing happening in your life at the time, and so you're willing to move money around and shuffle things around so you can make it happen. It's not as straightforward for the bridesmaids. So if you do need them to pay for hair and makeup, or if you would like them to contribute towards this, have the conversation as early on as you can so that they can budget for it. Don't wait till the week before the wedding to say you're paying for your own hair and makeup, because it's not possible for everyone to just do that. So have the conversation, be totally open, totally blunt, and you can avoid some awkward situations. Okay, final item, and that is the dresses for the bridesmaids. Again, there are two ways of doing things. First way, the bride pays and gets to have a say in exactly what each woman will be wearing. Second option, the bridesmaids pay and they get to choose what they wear. But there's actually a third option, which is a healthy compromise between the two. And that is where the bride contributes to the dress, the bridesmaids contribute towards the dress, and then they can decide together what the bridesmaids will wear. I've been in many situations as a bridesmaid. I've paid for half the dress and I've been given a color palette and styles to choose from, and I've picked the one that suits me the best. I've been a bridesmaid where the bride has paid for everything and she said, this is what I'd like you to wear. What do you think? And I've worn it. It's been great. I've also been a bridesmaid where I've paid for my dress, but I was able to wear whatever I wanted to. It really depends on the bride and the vision. Again, my advice is be upfront, have the conversations, talk to the bridesmaids about what your expectations are. If you do have a particular style in mind or a color palette, share it openly. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't expect that you can say, hey girls, I want you to wear this color, this specific dress, but you are paying for it, because it's not fair to expect that everyone's going to have the budget to do that. So if you do want them to pay, you've got to be a little bit flexible. And if you do have the budget to pay for them, you can be a little bit more prescriptive in what you would like them to wear. Okay, so I'm going to summarize this by going through the list of what each person should pay for. So for the bridesmaids, shoes and accessories, you should pay for those unless the bride has a very specific vision. Next, wedding gift. If you're getting a wedding gift, that's on you. Then the hen party, that's clear cut. You're paying for your own expenses and you're contributing towards the bride as well. Hair and makeup, sometimes that's you, sometimes it's not. And a contribution towards the dress, either you will pay that contribution, you'll pay for the full cost of the dress, or the bride will cover it. That's the murky one. And the bride, here's your list. The dress, unless you let them choose what to wear, the cost is actually for you to cover or to contribute towards the cost. Shoes and accessories, the bridesmaids will cover that unless you have a specific vision. Hair and makeup, sometimes. And finally, hen party. Don't worry about that because your girls will treat you. Well, thank you for listening today. The Wedding Wednesdays with Weddings Online podcast is produced by me, Kelly, and mixed, mastered, and edited by Glenn Hartman. For more wedding planning tips, advice, checklists, and more, visit weddingsonline.ie.